Hey, Printers, welcome back to the weekly. Normally, this is ran by Luke Gardner, who runs our newsletter, blogs, SEO, all this awesome stuff. But he's out this week, so I'm going to go ahead and take it over. Got some pretty interesting industry-related news, more so around hiring and the shifts of everything that's going to affect your guys' business. Now, the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics recently came out with their August data about people quitting their jobs. And it was roughly 20% higher than normal at about 4.3 million jobs. Now, this made a lot of media headlines that 4.3 million people quitting their jobs and everything like that. I think the important thing to note, though, is that roughly 3.5 to about 3.7 million people usually quit their jobs every single month. So let's just put that aside, as it's not like a shocking number, but it's definitely 20% higher than it normally is. Now, here's some other interesting pieces, though, to layer onto this. Things like Amazon, Walmart, FedEx, UPS, what are they doing with warehousing jobs, and how can that affect you guys? Well, Amazon and Walmart by themselves are hiring roughly 300,000 people. And as you guys know, and I'm sure I've seen the ads, they're trying to start at $15 an hour plus. So very competitive. FedEx and UPS are also hiring around 200,000 people and getting very aggressive with that too. You know, there's even commercials out about helping to pay for college if they stay long and so on. So pretty crazy and super competitive for screen printing shops too. Now, you'll notice in this first chart here that I'm covering that there's actually a bit of a skew, which is interesting. It's roughly double our women than men as the demographic. Now, there's been some interesting thoughts as far as, well, why? The best guess is, could this be more childcare related, especially as a lot of daycares are actually completely full, since the amount of people employed at daycares is roughly down 10.5%, right? So pretty significant, and then people are staying at home to be able to help care for their kids. We've heard about people retiring early, which is definitely a thing, and that's absolutely affected the trucking industry, as I'm sure everybody has seen the Long Beach boats that have been sitting out there trying to get into the docks. Of course, $600 per week benefits. Has that had an effect? Goldman Sachs in the Wall Street Journal article said they do feel that it had a longer lasting effect, as the amount of savings that people have in their bank account has shot up since before pre-COVID. Now, the other interesting thing here is if you check out this chart, and this is the percentage of labor force since Feb 2020 of a bachelor's degree or higher versus people without a bachelor's degree. So you can see there's a pretty big disparity there too. And this really directly affects a lot of service jobs, a lot of warehousing jobs, restaurants, hotels, hospitality, just in general. So really interesting. And how that affects you, of course, is, as we know, it makes it a lot more competitive for shops to be able to hire the right people that they need and to be able to offer those benefits, not just a dollar salary, to be able to get them in the door. Now, if you had a COVID puppy too, I'm sure you'll see that it's also hard to find a vet clinic. I mean, there's just tons of these different services that are just completely full because of shortages or supply issues, let alone consumables in our space. Now, in this final chart here, you can see how hard hit some of these industries really are. So underneath some of these industries, you've got healthcare, restaurants, bars, childcare, hotels. And some of them just truly are way behind in hiring and getting people to come back to work. And on top of that, you know, you've got a lot of large companies that have raised benefits and wages that is definitely driving up inflation and competition. I mean, they were looking at restaurant food, and from almost a year ago, it was up about 7%, and just the cost of meals on average. You know, and again, going back to Amazon with $15 an hour warehousing jobs. So with all of this said, if you'd like to read the full article, it's very interesting. It's down below. Keep in mind, you got to do a little bit more research to dig in behind the headlines, but absolutely a big effect on our space. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. We'll see you guys on the next weekly.